Welcome to Iyagba's Epic Tales. The title of today's story is Love from a Calabash. Once upon a time, lived two young girls called Kambili and Karachi. Kambili and Karachi were twin sisters. It is known that not all twins look alike and that unidentical twins does exist. But the difference in looks between Kambili and Karachi was quite huge to be ignored. Karachi was very beautiful and fair-skinned. She had a beautiful and well-defined figure that left men staring at her hips whenever she walks. She was also very tall and had beautiful legs and glowing skin. Kambili, on the other hand, was quite so ugly. She had large nose and lips. Her skin was dark and was always dry despite the many different ointments she had applied on her skin in the past. Kambili was also very short and could pass for a dwarf. The two girls lived with their father, who despised Kambili. Their mother had died few minutes after Kambili had arrived. Many years ago, during the process of their delivery, their father had rejoiced when the midwife's assistant came to inform him that his wife had delivered a beautiful baby girl and that his wife was doing very fine. Until 30 minutes later, when the midwife discovered that there was yet another baby. Delivering the first baby was easy and fast, but the second one took time and was quite a battle. At last, the second baby came, but the mother died few minutes later. And because of the situation surrounding the birth of the second baby and how she looked, their father called her a demon and refused to touch her. Every day, he prayed that she would die, as the baby was often sick and would cry for a long time. But his prayers were not answered. He also refused to give her a name and named only the first baby, which was Karachi. After a long while, and due to his refusal to name the second baby, his younger sister, who had been helping in taking care of the babies, decided to call her Kambili, which means "let me live" or "I shall live" in Igbo language. As they grew, many people only wanted to associate with Karachi and ignored Kambili. Karachi also avoided her as she was embarrassed to be called a twin sister. Soon, suitors started coming to ask for Karachi's hand in marriage, but again, none came for Kambili. "Let them keep coming. I will only marry one who is of royalty and wealthy, as that is what I deserve," Karachi said, boasting of her beauty as always. She had become rude and proud over the years due to how much their father had pampered her. "I am waiting for a man from the kingdom of diamonds," she said. The kingdom of diamond was a fairy tale legendary kingdom where everything in the kingdom was said to be only diamonds. It is said that people from the kingdom does not know of the word poverty, as even the least person in the kingdom was wealthy. People believed that the people of the kingdom of diamond had long separated themselves from other kingdoms of the world and now going extinct in the minds of people. But Karachi believed that she is so beautiful and would attract a man from the kingdom of diamonds who would not be able to overlook her beauty and come out from their hideouts to marry her someday. And so she dreamed of such a day. One morning, whilst Karachi was coming from the stream with two of her best friends who worshipped her and always carries a water pot for her, they met an old woman who begged them for water to drink. Mmesoma, one of the girls with Karachi, tried to give the old woman some water in the calabash, which the old woman had stretched out to them. But Karachi took the calabash and flung it into the bush. The stream is just few steps away from here. She should walk down and get water for herself instead of trying to reduce from the water we have fetched, Karachi said and ordered her friends to keep moving. Some minutes later, Kambili also came to fetch water. The old woman again asked Kambili for water to drink, stretching out a calabash. Kambili gave the old woman water to drink and offered to help her home. When they reached the old woman's hut, the old woman thanked Kambili and offered her a calabash as a way to show her appreciation. "This is my most priceless property. You can have it," she said. Kambili objected, but after much persuasion by the old woman, she eventually accepted the gifts. That evening, Kambili was in her room which she shared alone since Karachi refused to be in the same room with her. Kambili sang like she always does whenever she was sad and alone. Her voice seems to be the only beautiful thing about her. While she sang, she heard a baritone voice singing along with her. Kambili stopped, wondering who it was that could be singing alongside her. Could it be her father? Has he had a change of mind about her? Excited at the thought, Kambili ran out to the other end of the compound where her father was and called out to him in excitement. But her father pushed her away and told her never to go close to him again. Kambili went back into her room with tears and began singing again. And then again, she heard the voice singing with her. Terrified, Kambili stopped and tried to find out where the voice was coming from. She looked out of her window but couldn't see anyone. She started singing again, this time slowly and to find out where the voice was coming from. As she got close to the calabash which the old man had given her earlier that day, she could hear the voice loudly. Immediately she stopped and opened the calabash, realizing that the voice came from it. What she saw almost made her run, but the voice called on her to stop, assuring her that it would not harm her. Inside the calabash was a man. Kambili could see only half of his body as the other half was just a smoke. "Please continue singing," the man in the calabash pleaded. Kambili obliged, and as she sang, the man sang along. Their voices together sounded so melodious and it suited both their souls. "I have been here for a very long time and I have lost memory of how I ended up here," the man in the calabash told Kambili. He went on to tell her how he had been scared to speak for many years until this day when he heard Kambili's voice. The next morning, Kambili, on her way to the stream, went to look for the old woman to ask her more about the man in the calabash, but she couldn't find the old woman. Kambili continued checking every morning on her way to the stream, but the old woman was no longer there. Meanwhile, every evening when Kambili was done with her chores and all alone in her room, she would bring out the calabash and she and the strange man would sing to their heart's content. Apart from singing, the strange man also told her stories. These stories were stories of hope which gave Kambili hope that she would be loved by her father, sister, and every other person someday. The strange man became Kambili's best friend and confidant. She no longer spoke to him only at nights, but also during the day whenever she felt like speaking to someone. Speaking to him gave her hope and made her felt loved. The strange man would always tell her that she is beautiful, irrespective of her physical appearance, as what matters most is that her heart was beautiful. One evening, whilst they spoke, the strange man asked Kambili if she will always be with him. Kambili replied that she will always keep him with her and never let him go. He asked her that what if she got married someday. Kambili reaffirmed that she would not let him go for anything nor anyone else. She said she wished she could physically touch him or get into the calabash and be with him. After hearing what she said, the strange man smiled and thanked her. The next day, after finishing her chores, Kambili went into her room to get a calabash so she could speak with her friend. But alas, she found the calabash broken, shattered into pieces. Kambili was heartbroken, and for the first time ever, she summoned the courage to confront her twin sister and her father, demanding that they return her calabash to how it was, for she had believed that it was them who had broken her calabash. She also ran to the hut where she had met the old woman who had given her the calabash, hoping that she would be lucky this time around and find the old woman there. But the old woman wasn't there. Kambili cried and returned home disappointed. When she got to the compound, Kambili met a large crowd and wondered why there was such a large crowd in her compound. As she came closer, everyone started making way for her to pass. And then she saw her friend, the strange man from the calabash. But this time, he was no longer in a calabash. His full body was complete. His clothes were made with diamonds all through, glittering. He was tall and looked more finer. Kambili stood in awe. Then the old woman whom she had been looking for all this while and who had given her the calabash came from behind. She told Kambili that many years ago, her son had done something bad and he was to be punished. But the prince of their kingdom, being a person who was kind and always full with compassion, pleaded on his friend's behalf, for the old woman's son was his friend. He was told that his friend could not be forgiven and must suffer for his wrong actions. The prince offered to take the punishment for his friend, despite the warning that the punishment was a grave one. As a punishment, the prince was locked in a magical calabash and thrown out of their kingdom to be there all his life, except someone with a kind and compassionate heart like him would love him and free him from the spell. The old woman further explained that she felt sorry that the prince had bore the punishment for her son, and so she had decided to leave their kingdom of diamonds so she could take care of the calabash until she finds someone with a kind and compassionate heart whom she could give the calabash to. So, it was evident that Kambili's kindness, compassion, and love had freed the prince from the spell of the calabash. After the revelation, the prince brought out a piece of magical diamond and placed on Kambili's head, and immediately Kambili transformed into a very beautiful woman. The prince took Kambili to his kingdom, the kingdom of diamonds. Karachi cried. The old woman had asked her for water first on that day and had stretched out the calabash towards her, but she had threw it away. She wished she could turn back time, but it was too late. She had missed the opportunity to get the prince from the kingdom of diamonds for herself. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story. Did you learn anything from this story? I would like to know. Please share in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. See you in our next video. Bye.